the Bleach one-shot manga. I'm lost for words, guys. Yes, Kubo. Yes, Shueisha or whoever does this, Shonen. Yes, this. If there's no more chapters to this, I'm gonna be very pissed off, guys. There's no way there isn't. It has to continue at this point with the amount of depth that they put into this, and it's gonna be hard for me not to spoil, guys. So if you have not read the chapter yet or that big book yet, which you're gonna love every freaking chapter of, leave the video right now. Don't watch. Come back, and then we can talk about it. Trust me. Don't spoil it. Read it yourself, and then come back. All right, now that that's done, guys, amazing way to start off a new arc, an amazing way to introduce a new arc, an amazing way to reintroduce and remind us of the certain characters that we've missed. Of course, there's way more, and there's just too many in this series to showcase in even a chapter of this magnitude. But nonetheless, wow, I'm giving it right off the bat. For me personally, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Just maybe it's the shock factor, the wow factor, but 8 out of 10, guys. It initially starts off with Kazu, so Ichigo's son, sleeping, and Orihimi's checking in on him. Kon's sleeping and whatnot. She thanks Kon for taking care of him, but as soon as she leaves, just like any other kid, boom, he's ready to leave out the door to go explore. This kid's like a little superpower kid, right? He's like Boruto Jr. And if you guys noticed from the way it's looking, it's not something where it's going to be like Boruto variant of Bleach, right? It looks like the main characters are still staying main characters, and hopefully the kids take a back burner side role and work their way into becoming a main role. Like Gohan, even though Gohan kind of had that moment, and then everyone knows, right, it didn't really come of it, but like, you get what I mean, right? He grows with the show and gets a little bit more relevance and whatnot, but beyond that, man, holy crap. So the kid goes off, he does his thing, he meets up with a ghost, and then he does a little prayer, and I think he had the ability to open up the Soul Society. I didn't really know too much what was going on in that chapter, but he was opening up some realm to somewhere, and it looked like he basically has the ability to go between those dimensions, or those different realms and whatnot. It showcases that, now Urahara, which that's pretty sick, because it means he's not dead. They didn't really give a confirmation if Kisuke died in the Thousand Blood War, right? So the fact that they didn't show him, but he's there, and he's in the Soul Society, and he's basically, it's funny because he's very intelligent, but he's just bringing modern things in the real world to the Soul Society for the first time. So they get like FaceTime on cell phones and TVs, and they're just watching the shows in North America, but you got what I mean, in the real world, right? And it was just pretty fun. It's like this fun little moment that he throws in there, where it's like they're getting more modernized, and they're kind of, the influence of the real world and pop culture and stuff is starting to kind of lightly trickle into the Soul Society in a humorous way, right? There's I think it was 8th Division Vice Captain, who's basically a K-pop star, right, or a J-pop star, and she has a darker skin complexion, so I wonder if they're incorporating like another black character, because Tozen was the only black character in the show, my guy, but now it looks like they may be incorporating another one. Well, I don't know if Yoririchi as well, but I don't know how I would really go about that, but nonetheless, I'm still happy. Essentially, they're setting up this ritual for the captains who've passed away, like Genryusai and Retsu and whatnot, and now that's initially what's mentioned, right? It's just kind of a celebration kind of thing, right? But you find out later on in the chapter that it might be something else. It might be something more sinister, essentially. So it goes to I think it's Kurosuchi. Kurosuchi Mayuri kind of, I can't even speak right now, sends down this little beam from a bug that tells everybody that the vice captains of all respected divisions need to go to Earth and capture the actual hollows, right? So obviously the vice captains are the one that have to capture the hollows. They head down there, they meet up with Ichigo, and everything's they kind of trying to fit a lot into one big chapter, which is understandable. But in moments, it's kind of like this part, and then it jumps to that part, and there's not really an explanation like why is Ichigo there. And even Renji mentions it at one point, right? And I'm kind of going too far along. There are also other things where Rukia was speaking with Ichigo on the FaceTimes, and they were just kind of curious about like how technology has changed. But after that, right, the vice captains get mentioned over to capture the hollows. They meet up with Ichigo in the real world. They're just back and forth funny banter, right? This is for people who've watched the anime and read the manga and just want that refreshing feeling of knowing the characters, how they've been, how they've grown, the chemistry together, all that good stuff. And they do a very good job in doing that. It seems as if everyone's older, they're more mature, and they're more understanding of each other and whatnot. And to get that out of such limited amount of pages in a chapter, even though it's 70 chapters, it is really good. It's a good feeling. Now, more or less after they have the introductory in the real world, Renji's daughter, can't remember her name, but she sneaks off into the real world, and ironically she spots her father speaking with Ichigo, right? And then there's this big weird looking double-eyed skeleton. It looks like Wonder Weiss. It honestly looks like Wonder Weiss minus the torso upwards. That's what it kind of looks like, skeleton form. So she sees that and says, "Dad, look." And then Renji gets swatted to the ground, and you could probably hear, like, in the anime, like the dun 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 dun, like that music probably starts playing and stuff if it was animated. And everyone's just now on alert, and all these weird looking hollows show up that usually they would be able to feel the reishi, right? But they couldn't, so they were a little alarmed. What's her name? Kiyono. If you guys play Bleach Brave Souls, the dual characters, the speed units, Kiyono and Kentaro, whatever the names are, the blonde girl, she gets stabbed, and they realize these hollows are there. So there's that big battle that emerges and all that good stuff. But what's really surprising is where Renji's about to jump into battle, he gets held by chains. And this enemy starts talking to him and reference him by his name. So right away, okay, this person knows Renji. So who is it? Someone we know, right? And I did kind of spoil myself a bit with the speculation videos, and it ended up to be Xyloapero, right? So it's cool. I don't mind it being Xyloapero, and he's pretty good of a character to use for this, I guess, because he was very intelligent, and you could tell there was more Kubo wanted to do with him beyond what actually happened to him in the manga, the first manga. And it's just, I wanted to kind of see the part where maybe they're gonna show it where he got out of that mind game that Mayuri put him in, right? Because he put him in that stasis for years on years on years, or for millennia. But how'd you? It hasn't been that long, for one, but two, how'd you get to hell? Like, I want to know what's going on with that, but that's whatever in its own. We'll get back to that, or it'll get explained at some point, I hope. What's his name? The dude, the scientist guy with the 4 pricks on his head? Akon, man, he went in, my guy. He finally got his time to shine, and he snapped. So shout out to Akon, man. I'm gonna use your character in Bleach Brave Souls just for that. It was pretty lit, man. The battles were good, but once Xyloapero showed up, that's where it got really good, because the explanations started to come into play, right? It's all fun to watch the fights and the catch up, but we want to know the narrative. What's the next arc going to be about? And it looks like it was explained that, and I think it's what's his name? I'm so bad at this, guys. The main captain. Wow, Shunsui. I don't know why I see these names every day, but Shunsui basically explains that he believes the explanation for this festival that they're doing, the funeral festival, is actually not to just commemorate the lost ones. There's this hierarchy of reishi levels. He was mentioning like the baseline average Joso Reaper has like around a grade 20 of rate, and then if you're a vice captain, you have around 5 to 4, and then captains consist of 3 or higher. So it's almost like your potency of your spiritual authority, but I think also maybe your potency of strength kind of thing of your reishi, because reishi is supposed to disintegrate and go back to the earth and whatnot, and kind of just give life to life, if that makes any sense. But in this case, since their reishi so potent, it would probably cause some form of discrepancy, right? Like Aizen when he was walking around evaporating people just from walking, right? So it said that they actually go to hell. What? Yeah, so if like captains, when they die, I think in battle, they go to hell. And it's because there's nowhere else to put them where they could reside with that much power after they pass on. And essentially, it's because of that the gates of hell have opened or will open, right? And that's what's going to start off the arc. And that's where it really sold me, because it's like, yo, are they about to go out to fight Genrisai? Like Hell Genrisai, Hell Jushiro, Hell Retsu, like all these people. It mentioned Aizen, which was really weird, because like Aizen's not dead from what we know, and that I don't know, maybe he's just chilling down there, he could do whatever he wants, but I don't think he's dead. I think that's a misconception. I think he thinks he's dead, right? And the real weird thing is towards the end, Zalapro's like shouting and shit, and then he just gets impaled from behind as some form of ritual. But the Zongpak tool used is Jushiro's blade with the little, you know, extended part, and those chimes with the string, like literally, and it shows a skull of someone holding the gates. So it's the gates, and basically, and Jushiro shanks him. And like, what does that mean? Is Jushiro helping them out, or oh wow. Oh, I just took it in, guys. Oh, is that Jushiro's face? So it's a little weird. There's a little part where it shows, it looks like Xylopro, because he was bleeding from the mouth when he got stabbed, and he's like, now I will return, and you guys should think properly. But at the same time, that face, I think they want us to think it's Jushiro. I mean, want to think it's Zylopro, but it's really Jushiro, because he also, when he's coughing out the blood, would have a similar face. So I don't know that, like, but at the end of the day, it looks like Ichigo saw Jushiro, because at the end it shows a skull, right? And I'm assuming when the gates opened, that's what Ichigo saw, right? And his face was in shock. And it shows the badge too. That's another thing. It shows the Soul Reaper badge, which more or less that's what Jushiro gave him, right? So it's the symbolism there. I think that was placed there to kind of show that he probably was looking at Jushiro, and that's freaking crazy, guys. That is freaking crazy. So I don't know, man. I know I was all over the place. I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts out raw about this. Please, I hope they continue this. Of course, we're not gonna get 72 chapters 72 pages each time, which would be phenomenal. But just progressing the story, just confirming if that was Jushiro would be so much for me. So let's see what happens. This, like, if we get good reactions, if this sells, if it is something that's gonna sell, I just want to make sure they bring this back. Bring back Bleach, the anime, to finish the 1,000-year Blood War arc while this Hell arc is ongoing, and that would be smooth sailings. That would be literally smooth sailings, guys. So I'm gonna post this out either today or tomorrow, or I just may refine this once again. But if I do get it out, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? If you've watched it, if you haven't watched it, then watch it first. Of course, I already gave that spoiler warning in the beginning, but watch it. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you believe we're gonna get more of this. Ooh, this is a lot. This is a lot, man. But we'll see. I'm hoping. James, Clyde, keep up the good work, guys. This is all for you guys, man. I'm telling you, cool with this is all for you guys. I'm joking, but you got what I mean. They held strong, and we finally got it.